Alright, MTech Guy here. Now if you're considering buying a BMW E60 M5, I'm going to tell you why you should buy one right now. Okay, so these cars have seen huge depreciation throughout the lifetime since new. Now they were a reasonably expensive car when new, and as with many similarly priced BMWs, over a 10 to 15 year period they do fall in value a colossal amount in comparison to the purchase price when new. Now the other factor that's affected the value of these cars is the reputation they've gained as being a very unreliable car, apparently due to rod bearing failures, Vanos and SMG gearbox issues. Then of course, coupled with that, the price of parts for these cars aren't exactly cheap. So although the E60 M5 is a very unique car with an amazing engine and driving experience, all the talk about reliability and maintenance issues have certainly contributed to making this desirable car a very scary car to get into the ownership of. Now then, if you look back through my channel, I've done a few videos questioning the reliability reputation these cars have gained, and this is from the perspective of an enthusiast who has worked on my own cars for years. I've also put the question out to my viewers, and the feedback I've received confirmed my own experiences with the car, that the reality of owning one of these cars certainly isn't in line with the so-called reputation these cars have been tarnished with. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, essentially, because the cars have been through the bulk of their lifetime depreciation, and then that's been further hammered down by the reputation they have gained, you can now buy one of these 507 horsepower super saloons with a screaming V10 engine that revs to 8,250 RPMs for stupid cheap money. Now, these cars have been sitting at the bottom of the depreciation curve for about 2 or 3 years now. They're super cheap, but they haven't really seen much further drop in price over that time. So right now, enthusiasts are beginning to realise the reputation these cars have gained ain't exactly how it's been portrayed, and they're purchasing them, even broken ones, to fix up. And one thing that's certainly become really apparent over the last few months is the price of M cars have been creeping up at a reasonable rate, certainly more so than usual. Now this is more likely due to the pandemic. Overseas travel is off limits for most people, so a lot of people are spending on toys and assets instead, and this is why we've seen growth in the M car prices. And then with that rapid growth, you all of a sudden get them guys who invest in cars jumping on the bandwagon, pushing prices up further. Take the E60 M5 for example. It was always recognised as a special car by enthusiasts, and prices have slowly increased over the last few years, but if you look at the last 12 months they've skyrocketed. And don't forget the issues these cars were recognised for having in the early days and gained a bit of a reputation for, although not at the extent of the E60 M5. You know, we're talking about cracking subframe mounts, rod bearing issues on the early S54 engines, Vanos and SMG2 issues. Funny how everyone doesn't care about any of that stuff now, eh? Same with the E39 M5s, they're now shooting up in value, and even the E90 series M3s. Manual cars seem to be fetching increased prices now too. I expected these cars to depreciate a little further before bottoming out, but no, they're on the rise too. Same with the Z4Ms, they've always commanded a premium, but now they've shot up to another level. So where does that leave the E60 M5? Well, these seem to have been the only M cars that the prices have currently stagnated on. It's kind of the runt of the litter, you know, and it'll be due to that reputation it's been tarnished with. But my guess is, it isn't going to last. These cars are super unique. The only V10 sedan BMW produced, and with the rise of emission controls and now the well-established turbocharged engines, there will never be another car built with a naturally aspirated V10 again. These cars are now starting to have a cult following by enthusiasts, but with the rise of prices of the other M cars, soon people are going to be turning their attention to these V10 bargains, which will then in turn drive the prices up. There were many of these cars built. They're not exactly rare, but like any fast car, some have ended up smashed up, and a lot have been broken down for parts where repairs may have been an expensive option. These cars are insanely cheap for what they are right now, and if you're prepared to look after the car properly, they are an absolute bargain of a high-performance super saloon. So if you're wanting one and you're considering buying one, then stop sitting on the fence and go and get yourself one while they are still ridiculously cheap, because it ain't gonna last. Alright guys, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe for more E60 M5 content. I'm MTech Guy, thanks a lot for watching.